In today's show, the Trail Blazers hand the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder their first loss of the season in a wild one that came down to the final seconds. Welcome to Locked On Blazers. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Trailblazers, your daily Portland Trailblazers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, world? It's your past first point guard and Trailblazers reporter Mike Richmond. You're listening to another episode of Locked On Blazers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, available wherever you get podcasts and also on YouTube. Thanks for making this show your first listen, coming at you each and every weekday, Monday through Friday. So make it a part of your daily routine. Make it your first listen. Tell your friends to do the same. It's Locked On Blazers, your team every day. In today's program, we're talking about a wild one. The Blazers come back to beat the defending champs. Oklahoma City hand them their first loss of the young season. A 121-119 thriller. OKC 8-0. Undefeated no more. They're now the defeated Oklahoma City Thunder at 8-1. Blazers, just a game that showed their resilience. A game that showed their sort of ability to adapt when things were dicey, both from the coaching staff and a player's perspective, and a reminder of after a real stinker against the Lakers, the sort of the fun that this team can offer you. The NBA season's long. There's going to be stinkers. We'll get into all of that. Let's do what we do. Fastest recap in the West. I want to talk Denny. I want to talk Duop Reith, who was really good in this game. The final 3 minutes were pretty chaotic. We'll get into all of it and talk in general, just sort of about the what this win suggests about this team now 8 games into their NBA journey this season. First, let's do what we do. Fast recap in the West. Blazers coming off this bad loss to the Lakers, right? The Lakers in the second night of a back-to-back. They rested their stars. No Luka, no LeBron, no Austin Reeves, and the Blazers lose, and it's just like, ugh. Oklahoma City, second night of a back-to-back, and resting some of their key players. No Chet Holmgren in this game. The Oklahoma City played against the Clippers for a national TV game that tipped off after 8 p.m. in Los Angeles. They flew after that game to get to Portland. This was already just like a dicey back-to-back for them just because of travel. And then, they're a very young team, but they chose to hold some guys out. No Chet, who played the night before. No Dort, who left early in that game and did not play in this game. No Alex Caruso, the old head of Oklahoma City, still playing all of these games without Jalen Williams, J-Dub, an all-NBA performer last year. The OKC has looked as good as they've looked. One, played a relatively soft schedule. Two, they're just championship level good. They've got the depth, and they're really stinking good. And you have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and he's for all of sort of his annoying traits, is still excellent at basketball. And when this game gets started, OKC looks like the freaking champs. Aaron Wiggins is cooking. The ball is popping. They're really they're getting what they want. Cason Wallace was good in that early quarter. Shea was really good in that first quarter. And the Blazers are down 41-21 after one. Portland started 6 of 25 from the floor. 6 of 25 from the floor in the first quarter. And then they missed their first 4 shots of the second quarter. They opened the game 6 of 29 from the floor, trailed by as many as 22. This one felt like a blowout. This one felt like a beatdown. But then just a exceptional response. Like the Blazers just really in that second quarter. One, I thought Tiago Splitter made the right call. He had Donovan Clingan, he's just not good on offense, right? It's not like he's going to have these games where it's like, oh, he had a really nice offensive night. Sometimes he's going to score on putbacks and stuff like that, but he just he typically just doesn't have much to offer on that end, right? They went to Rob Williams, who's been solid in his return, but just it wasn't a Rob night. Rob ended up getting sort of baited into shooting a 3-pointer. So what Clingan did, he eventually sort of got to as he was searching for anything to work in a game where his team was just getting stomped out. And again, they had missed. They started 6 of 29. If you're scoring at home, they had missed 23 shots. They had missed 23 shots and scored 21 points. Like it was pretty dicey, right? And this one was looking really, 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 really on the ropes. And Splitter goes to Duop Reith. And I thought Duop Reith in that second quarter, he hit 3 3-pointers. His ability to stretch the floor. OKC really packs the paint. They shrink the floor, as sort of an NBA terminology. They shrink the floor better than probably any team in the league. They're really good at it. They play, they dare you to shoot. And if you drive, you're going to drive in a crowd. They're incredibly handsy, incredibly physical. And Duop got some open looks because they're kind of daring the Blazers to shoot. And when you start 6 of 29, it's like, well, the dare is working. But I thought Duop completely changed the game in that second quarter with the 3-pointers he made. I thought that was really, really, really important. And all of a sudden, the Blazers are like kind of in the game. With 4 minutes to go in the first half, they're down 6. They ended up going into the quarter. Going half, down 8. OKC threw a long. The Blazers had a shot clock violation. OKC gets the ball back, and they get with like a second left in the half. They throw it deep to Isaiah Hartenstein. He just shoves Duop Reith over. They don't call a foul. Good push off. He scores a little basically like a full court alley oop, and Thunder go in up 8. Right, go into the locker room up 8. It is what it is, right? Like. They didn't get a call, but you're only down 8. You were down 20. You win that quarter by 12. You put yourself in position. Through the first half, Denny Avdia has not made a shot. Getting to the free throw line, scoring points there, but he has not made a shot. And that continues into the third quarter. Late in the third quarter, he finally hits a little midi. He started the game 0 for 11, 3 of 14 in this game. More on Denny in a little bit. But Denny finally kind of finds himself a little bit. At the end of starts to make shots at the end of the third quarter, and he had maintained his level of aggressiveness, and then Duop Reith returns the favor, hits a buzzer beating 3, did not really beat the buzzer, he beat the shot clock buzzer, and then OKC had one more shot at it, but a late 3-pointer at the end of the third quarter cuts the lead to 86-81. 5-point game heading in the fourth. 5-point game ending the fourth. This is going to be a ball game, and the Blazers finally take the lead back with 6:40 left in the game. Drew Holiday hits a little 10-foot pull-up midi swish. Blazers up 1. Drew Holiday hit a 3 about 4 minutes later to put the Blazers up 8, 112-104, and I thought this thing was cooked. Denny Avdia, even after bucket by OKC, came down and hit a top-of-the-key 3. He hadn't made a 3-pointer all night. Steps into a 3 relatively early in the clock, like 14 on the shot clock, but he's wide open, hits it in rhythm, does that Denny Avdia thing where he starts backing up and puts his hand down early when he knows it's going in. Cash. Blazers are up 9 with 2:12 left. They're going to win the game. But boy, was it not easy down the stretch. Finally, after AJ Mitchell buckets and an N1 and a SGA bucket, Blazers have the ball up 3 with clock ticking under 50 seconds. OKC double teams. They up top, so they'll so to kind of speed up the clock. Denny Avdia gets the ball back in the middle of the floor out of the double team. He kind of looks wing and to freeze the backside of the defense, the backline defense, a little look off pass underneath to Tumani for a dunk. Blazers up 5 with 30 seconds left. You're in a spot. Stop and you probably win. But OKC goes fast. They get a bucket inside, a pass inbounds play that goes into Isaiah Hartenstein. They get SGA at the rim. He scores quickly. They score in 5 seconds. It's now a 3-point game. 3-point game, 30 seconds left. OKC gets the 2-for-1. They don't have to foul. They just need to play it out. The Blazers try to run clock. Eventually, Denny drives into the paint and turns the ball over in the corner, trying to make a pass out of a crowd. OKC has the ball. They have a timeout left. They're not going to take a timeout down 3. Blazers choose to foul. I think what we've learned in the early going of the Thiago Splitter era is that under 10 seconds, I don't know what his threshold is, but he's a foul guy. If they're up 3, he is someone who wants to foul and prevent the 3-point shot. The Blazers do. They take a foul. 7 seconds left. Okay, SGA hits 2 free throws. It's now a 1-point game. Blazers got to play the foul game here. They get the ball into Drew Holiday. He hits 2 free throws, back to a 3-point game. It's going to go to OKC with 6.5 seconds left, down 3. The Blazers want to foul. The way the play works out coming out of that timeout is they don't get the foul. Isaiah Joe gets a decent look at it. Like he's a really good shooter, so it's a good look for him. But a left wing three, misses it. Cason Wallace gets the rebound. He kicks it back out to Joe, and Joe goes up for a would be game tying three, and they call a foul on Toumani Camara. Go to the monitor. Turns out it's his foot was on the line. 2-shot foul. Joe makes the first, misses the second on purpose. Great miss, quite frankly. Great miss. Did a really good job, but Blazers put their big guys in there, prevented the offensive rebound. They survive. They escape. What a freaking ball game. That's your fastest recap in the West, 121-119. What a game for the Blazers. Let's talk about that Joe call. What an utter nonsense. Let's talk Deni Avdija. Let's talk a little bit more Duop Reith in the second segment. Join me there. Before we do that, though, I want to tell you about Gusto. Let's be real. No one starts a business for the joy of calculating tax withholdings or managing payroll spreadsheets, that is. That's where Gusto comes in. It's to take the stress out of payroll, benefits, and HR so you can focus on running your business and supporting your team. Gusto is an all-in-one remote-friendly payroll and HR platform that makes managing your team simple, transparent, and fast. Whether you're hiring, onboarding, or paying employees, Gusto helps you do it all from one place without the hassle or the hidden fees. They got unlimited payroll runs for one monthly price, which means no surprise charges at the end of the month. Gusto's also got automated tools like offer letters, onboarding materials, and direct deposits that are going to save you hours every week. And like knowing you can reach certified HR experts anytime will give you real peace of mind when you're using Gusto. So try Gusto today at gusto.com/lockedonnba and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That's right, 3 months of free payroll at gusto.com/lockedonnba. That's gusto.com/lockedonnba. Today's program is also brought to you by the YMCA. That's right. At YMCA Columbia Willamette, they believe everyone deserves to find their place to play because play connects us, strengthens us, and brings our community together. Through the 3 pillars of the YMCA, youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility, the Y is your local nonprofit helping people of all ages move, grow, and belong across the Portland and Vancouver metro area. You'll find 6 courts and a full fitness center at the Beaverton Family Y. You'll find families swimming or playing pickleball at the Clark County or Sherwood YMCAs, plus family activities all year long, brand new workout equipment at all 3 branches, and so much more. And with YMCA camps, childcare, and enrichment sites throughout the region, the Y gives kids safe, fun spaces to learn, play, and build confidence all year long. Find your play at the Y. Visit ymcacw.org/pod. That's ymcacw.org/pod, or follow them on YouTube or Instagram at YMCACW. All right. So let's talk about this call at the end of the game. I am morally opposed to the call in and of itself. Oklahoma City gets the rebound, under the rim, clock's ticking under 5 seconds, right? Cason Wallace, hold on, real quick. Cason Wallace has the strongest hands in the league. Cason Wallace made some plays today that were, his hands are so strong. He had a rebound he ripped away. He had getting a loose ball from Shaedon Sharpen, kind of after the whistle ripped it away or just before the whistle ripped it away. And he had another steal down low against Jeremy Grant. His hands are so strong. Okay. Side note, I was really impressed. I enjoyed watching him. I didn't enjoy watching the final 3 seconds when Cason Wallace kicks the ball up. He kicks the ball to Isaiah Joe. Toumani Camara contests the shot. Is it a foul? No, in my opinion, no, it's not a foul. But even if it is, I'm morally opposed to the call in and of itself, right? Let the players decide the game. It's not an egregious foul. Like, he doesn't run him over, right? If anything, Isaiah Joe kicked his foot out to try to get the call. But I don't even care necessarily about debating the accuracy of the call itself. That is not my point here. My point here is that I think I am morally opposed to having the officials blow their whistle on a kind of iffy, not like strong call that decides the game in that moment. Let the players decide the game. Let the players decide the game. I just, I have a moral objection to calling that in the first place. I will say in the arena tonight, we got a bunch of ref you suck chants, or if you are a young child listening, they were saying refuse up, which is when you are cheering for someone to put their garbage away. There was a lot of refuse up chants. Like there was juice in the building, right? I think there was more vitriol. There's been louder moments. Like it was a lot. It was rocking in the Warriors game. It was rocking in the Nuggets game. But this was like the most vitriol, like a real anger from the crowd directed at the court. Some of that is just like the way Shai Gilgeous-Alexander plays. Like he draws fouls, and he works to draw fouls. I thought he had like a stiff arm. He uses that chicken wing, the battering ram club arm. That is like, if you don't extend your arm in the NBA, you're allowed to use that club, and probably no one in the league, James Harden's close, but no one in the league does it better of like just like living in the gray area of illegal club use than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So like, I think just like watching him irks fans. I enjoy watching him, but like certainly the other 19,000 people in the arena with me were not as excited. So I think some of it is that, and I think some of it was like people were really excited because the Blazers were going to come back and play this game, and it was getting close, and there were some whistles down the stretch and all these things. Like, like I think in some ways it's like there's a little bit of while I don't love like refereeing being part of the story, I do think like fans getting engaged in the game and like being in the arena when there's like a lot of excitement is even if it's like a little bit angsty and angry, like I think it added to an atmosphere. I hate that call at the end. Get out of here. Just let the players let him decide the game. Let him decide the game. Luckily, it was called a 2-pointer. His foot was on the line. Is correct. And the Blazers were able to not give up an offensive rebound. Hold on, win the game. Let's go. What a win. What a win. Let's talk Denny Avdia real quick, and then I'll add some more thoughts on Do Up Breathe. Denny Avdia started 0 for 11 from the floor. He had 13 points because he was 13 of 14 from free throw line. He was relentless in attacking in this game. And actually in the first half, he did not commit a turnover. He committed a turnover early in the third quarter, but he did not have, he's scoreless, but he's been driving downhill, field goalless, but he's been driving downhill and scoring, and not committing some and avoiding some turnovers. Like, it speaks to the sort of general theme of this game is that Denny was having a bad night. He even mentioned that there was a moment where it's like he missed a little, he had a little like short shot inside, and then he got his own rebound and even missed the like second try, and he like kind of hung his head for a second. It was like he said after the game, he's kind of thinking like, oh, this one isn't going to be like my night. Like it's not going to be my night. But he stayed with it. Like he stuck with it and thought he was really good down the stretch. He starts 0 for 11. But he hits 5 of his final 6 shots, including a big 3 with 30 seconds left to put them up 9. Like, he speaks to like, and then like, okay, so he's having this game 0 for 11, but the floor game's nuts. 10 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals, had a turnover late or whatever, but also like was the playmaking hub late, like had a huge pass inside to Tumani to put them up 5, like they were playing through him late in the game. It really speaks to kind of both the Blazers' trust in him and also like Denny's just general relentlessness. He's taken 14 free throws. He's driving just endlessly to the rim in a crowded, physical OKC defense. He can't make a shot to save his life. He's getting caught in between a couple times. Like he doesn't have much of a mid-range game, and Oklahoma City did a couple times where they just like wall off the paint, and his drives got cut short, and he got caught in some shots that he's just not super comfortable with. But it didn't stop his approach, right? Like even if he was shooting bricks and sometimes taking shots that he probably didn't want to take, he still keeps his foot on the gas. Like this was just a really impressive Denny performance because he could not score. He could not make shots early in this game. Really, really, really impressive. Also, like credit to the do-up thing, like because credit to Splitter for the do-up thing. The do-up experiments, right? Because it was exactly the time to go to it. Nothing was working. Like Klingon isn't going to give you anything on offense. He's just not at this stage. Like he's just not. And I thought he had struggled against the Lakers. Everybody did. But like he was not. He was just like a just like zero. Right. He's just like not an impactful player in that game, and he struggled. And I thought he was way better just in terms of being physical and competitive and all those things, and like a little bit better on defense in this game for sure. But he's not going to give you much on offense. Rob Williams has been good, but he's just not a fit for how OKC guards and how they want to do things, and they were just gonna ignore him, and like he wasn't going to be able to be a factor in the way he wants to be a factor. It was time to go to do up, and not only did when Splitter first went with to do up, it was like, yeah, he was like, he was kind of working the sort of natural big man role along the baseline and stuff. But he stuck with Duop and even tried him for a stretch with like playing power forward next to Klingon. And in that role where the Thunder couldn't just like completely pack the paint because there was someone working the baseline and also a spacer in Duop, like his minutes really changed the game. And I thought that willingness from Splitter to just like kind of throw stuff at the wall. I think that's important because, he's still brand new to this and he's been mixing and matching lineups, but he's mostly mixing and matching the back half of the lineup. Like for the most part, he's playing, you kind of know who he's going to put in the game, but this was a game where you absolutely just like, yeah, it's going to get away from you unless you do something different. And he went ahead and did something different. Like, they were down 22 and he didn't do it in the first quarter or whatever, but like, once he got through that first pattern of subs as on the back half of it, he's like, yeah, we got to do something different. So I credit to Splitter. I thought that was a nice and important, just like totally, it was time to do something different. And he was, you're not always going to get rewarded with that perfect shooting night. Duop comes in this game and makes 4 of 5 threes in 20 minutes. The Blazers won his minutes by 21 points in a game. He was plus 21 in a game that was decided by 2. He really, really helped in that second quarter. Like that was their big spurt. They wanted like a 16-2 run and he was on the court for all of it. That'll help. That's plus 14 for you. Credit to Splitter for that, and credit to Duop for being ready because his job's weird, right? He's not going to play most nights, but he needs to be ready. And when called on, this is what he needs to do. He needs to shoot it. The Blazers really need a shooting big. I think like Splitter kind of alluded to it briefly. It was like, well, I thought he held up pretty well on defense, and I think that's the holdup. Can they defend enough with Duop in the game? And on this particular night, they were able to. Again, a shorthanded OKC team, yada yada yada, but. Like this was a good game, a nice move from the coach, and a nice move is only rewarded if the player plays well, and Duop played really, really well. Let's talk about what this means, because I do think, like, while I don't want to draw like giant, big, bold, broad picture stuff, big picture stuff, like and broad strokes, I do think that this win on the heels of the way they played against the Lakers suggests something about kind of where this team's at. We'll talk about that to close the show. Join me in that third segment. First, though, let's talk FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And right now, they got a great deal for you. If you missed the start of the game, guess what? FanDuel has plenty of ways for you to get in on all of the action. So whether you want to ride the hot hand or fourth quarter comebacks, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who's going to score the next point to who wins the second quarter to who's coming back in the final 3 minutes. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It adds another layer to your viewing experience. So check out the FanDuel app. And like I said, they got a great deal right now for new customers. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head on over to FanDuel.com, sign up, and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Still a pass first point guard. I'm still Mike Richmond, and you are still listening to Locked On Blazers. The Blazers probably had the best win of the season on Friday night. They beat the Denver Nuggets, who were mostly whole. A healthy Denver Nuggets team, a really nice win. Then they follow that up with a stinker, their first true stinker of the year, where they just didn't bring it, right? Denny Avdia said they played a little bit sleepy. Maybe they played without some focus, and maybe they just didn't play with the energy they needed to play with. Thiago Splitter mentioned that in that Lakers loss, that he felt like just defensively they were out of position. They weren't in the right spots, and they weren't playing to like sort of the discipline in the game plan. They were either too active in some situations and chasing things that they shouldn't have chased, or not having the activity enough in places where they needed to be, and just like a general lack of attentiveness. And I felt like that was it. It's just a lack of attention to detail, and it caught up with them. A really shorthanded Laker team, and Nick Smith Jr. gave them fits, right? Obviously, Rui Hachimura and DeAndre Ayton are NBA players, but like that was a game that was like pretty sobering for the sort of Blazer fan base in my experience with it as someone who hosts this podcast. Like, I think it was just people were like, oh. I thought this was not that. I didn't think that's who this team was, and to have that. And then to come out against the way they did against OKC, where they can't make anything. They can't make anything. And they're down 20. And it's like, oh, this is the same thing. It's another like good team. Like I think OKC is several steps above how good the Lakers are. I think Oklahoma City could win 70 games if they want to. Like they're really good. But like, they don't have Chet Holmgren, who's will make an all-star push this year. They don't have Lou Dort, who's one of the best defenders in the league. They don't have Alex Caruso, who's one of the best defenders in the league. They don't have J-Dub, but they haven't had him all year, but they don't have J-Dub in this game, who's like, an all-NBA guy, right? They're missing their dudes. They don't have my guy Kenny Hustle, Kenrick Williams. Like they're missing their dudes. This is Oklahoma City, second night of a back-to-back. The Blazers have a rest advantage, all those things, right? But when you're down big to this team, it doesn't feel like, oh, well, they don't have Alex Caruso. We should be fine. It feels like, I can't believe this team has Aaron Wiggins coming this deep off the bench. This guy's so good. How is Cason Wallace so good? How do they find another player like this in AJ Mitchell? How do they have so many dudes who can dribble, drive, and pass? They have shooters. They got guys who can get downhill. Everybody seems to make smart plays. With the ball in their hands, making the right, easy, simple read, right? And they're just zipping the Blazers. And I think to come back in this game, even with the obvious caveat that Oklahoma City is shorthanded, it kind of speaks to the whole Denny Avdia 0 for 11 experience. Did Denny stop shooting at 0 for 11? No, he kept shooting, and he kept driving downhill, and he was relentless. And the Blazers, up 9 with 2 minutes left, a 1-point game with 7 seconds left, right? Like they didn't completely close the door, because this is a really good team and they execute, and Isaiah Hartenstein's really good and SGA is really good. And I think what this speaks to is the sort of two realities for the Blazers here. If they okay, real quick, like in the sort of basketball on paper stuff, in the four factors world, what you want to do is you want to make shots and you want to have more possessions than the other team, right? What Dean Oliver's four factors measures is like offensive rebounds, turnovers, shooting, effective field goal percentage. Like we're talking, do you force turnovers? Do you get extra shots? Do you make shots? Blazers did not win the possession game here. They did not win the possession game. They ended up shooting because they took 32 free throws and 88 field goal attempts. The Thunder took 91 field goals and 31 free throw attempts. The Thunder ended up with +2 in the possession game, right? They took 2 more. They had 2 more shooting possessions. But the Blazers won the game because they made shots. After that horrendous start, they ended up shooting 19 of 43 from 3, shot 44% from 3. That still remains the sort of game changer for them, right? It's like they got really hot in that second quarter and made shots. Duop Reith came and made shots. Drew Holiday hit 6 threes. Like I haven't mentioned him, but he was very good in this game. Despite Toumani Camara hit 3 of 5 threes, really, really crucial for him to make shots because he has struggled to do so. Shaedon Sharpe even 2 of 5 from 3. That's a really nice number for him because he struggled to make shots all year long. So they win this game because of shot making. But they also win this game because they stayed in the fight. Like they stayed in the mix, right? And I think another important thing that we're kind of seeing from them, I mentioned in yesterday's program kind of their identity, right? And I think in this game, they dialed back the pressure a little bit. the Lakers were able to sort of beat their press and kind of get into easy stuff because they beat their press. And I thought early in the game, Oklahoma City was kind of eating them alive with the press, with how much they were pressing up the court. They brought the pressure way back. Their pickup point was way, way deeper on the court. Instead of picking up at 94 feet, watch that fourth quarter again. They're picking up beyond midcourt. Or excuse me, like they're letting OKC cross midcourt before like true pickup. They're still playing pressure in the half court. They still are defending the perimeter. Their whole, they want to limit threes and force turnovers, but they kind of adapted in real time in this game. And I think this shows like the two truths, right? Is like they're going to win if they make shots. They made 19 threes. They're going to give themselves a chance, right? But they are competitive enough to hang with good teams. If one, they got to shoot probably well, but like because they play defense and because they play to their identity and are a competitive defensive team, they have nights where they can compete with anyone. But if they don't bring it, right? Like if the requisite effort was there, because they played hard as hell in this game, they really did. If the effort isn't there, they can lose to G Leaguers, right? They really can. They're a fragile group in that way, right? Because they're not this elite offensive team that can just kind of like pull it out of thin air and say, okay, let's go score. And if they don't really bring it on defense and are competitive on that end, it can get bad in a hurry. But I asked Denny Avdia, like, you're down 20. What is like sort of the talking point? Is all you're saying like, hey, there's 36 minutes left, we're fine? Or like, what is the energy in the huddle in that moment? And he said, in past versions of this team, Denny's been on the team 1 year, so we'll say last year, he said this would have spiraled and this would have been a 40-point loss and we probably would have had a bunch of garbage time in this game. But we aren't like that anymore. Like we have a strong belief. So instead of having this moment where it was like, oh man, we don't have it, he said they kind of looked at each other and said like, okay, we can do this. Keep going. Not a big rah-rah moment, but just a lack of panic. And I think that speaks to who they can be. I think this Laker game, this OKC game, obviously you're playing second night of back-to-backs against shorthanded opponents, right? You're not playing whole teams. But I think it shows the kind of two truths, right? If the Blazers play at a level in terms of intensity, they are good enough to get themselves into games against very good teams and have a chance. If they do not bring the level of intensity and focus, attention to detail, I think is maybe a more accurate way to describe it. Like you don't need to send two guys to Bronny James on the baseline when he drives baseline. You can guard him with one dude. You happen to guard him with two guys, and DeAndre Ayton got a wide open dunk. This is like attention to detail, right? But if they play with that the sort of baseline of playing hard and the attention to detail, they're not sleepy, and then with that sort of knowing what they want to get done, they're capable of hanging with good teams. And I think you've seen it with Denver. You've seen it a little bit with OKC. Like, I'm not trying to sell you that the Blazers are an elite team, a championship level team, but I will tell you this. I think 8 games into the season, we know for real, if the Blazers bring it, with the level of defensive intensity and with the level of attention to detail and the sort of game plan discipline that they need, they can play with any team in the league on any given night. They can. They can hang with them. Can they like win 4 games in a playoff series? Yeah, that's another question, right? That's a long time from now. But I think through the early part of the season, we kind of know that there's a deep end that they can fall off pretty quickly. But if they stay out of those choppy waters, they stay out of the deep end, they are a team that can stay afloat against frickin' anybody because that they believe they can, and because they're talented enough, and the defense is kind of props them up. That is going to do it for today's program. Just a fun game against OKC. Fun game. Fun to be in the arena. Fun to watch them to sort of pull that one out. An entertaining game, even if it was a little bit yucky in the final 10 seconds with too many whistles. I'm morally opposed to blowing your whistle there. Swallow it, my dude. Come back for tomorrow's show. Blazers have a road trip coming up, and we will look ahead to what is ahead for them. Tell your friends about the podcast. I appreciate you listening. I will talk to you soon.